is Kelso Sturgeon. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of Handicapping 101. This one's all about the bowl games. Before we get to some discussion on the bowl games and the BCS, just like to remind you that my December to Remember package, the bargain, I mean the bargain of the entire sports season, is available right now. My December to Remember package includes everything. It includes the rest of the NFL regular season, plus the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. It includes all the college bowl games right through the BCS championship game between Auburn and Oregon, and daily basketball selections. And by the way, 4-0 in basketball yesterday. Basketball gets you 2, 3, 4 college and NBA selections every single day. So once again, the NFL, the college bowl games, college and NBA basketball, all in my December to Remember package for just $249, charged to your major credit card, available on this site and toll-free at 1-800-755-2255. Now, the college bowl season kicks off here December the 18th with Texas El Paso and BYU in the New Mexico Bowl. It's a bowl that shouldn't be, and that's why I want to talk about the bowl games. You know, Oregon opened as a slight favorite over Auburn in the BCS championship game on January the 10th, but the public just jumped right in and bet so much money on Auburn. Auburn now is a 3-point favorite, and they should be. And you know, I will say this, the BCS has certainly matched the two best teams in the country in this game. Auburn and Oregon, I think, are better than TCU, and I give TCU a lot of credit. But you know, you get a situation here where, you know, the BCS got it right in this spot, but let's face it, 99% of the village idiots in the country would have matched these two teams for the BCS championship, so let's not get carried away. After matching these two teams in the BCS championship series, you know, things kind of drop off a bit. You know, for instance, we've got Connecticut 8-4 playing Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl, and yet we have Boise State 11-1 playing Utah in the minor league Las Vegas Bowl. What's wrong with this situation? Well, you know, the BCS, as honorable as it tries to present itself, is nothing but a fraud. It always has been a fraud. I was around when the BCS began and knew some of the coaches involved in it. The coaches decided to start the BCS, limit teams that could play for the national championship to 6 major conferences, and cut out everybody else. And that included teams like Utah, BYU, TCU, Boise State, etc. They weren't considered worthy to play for a national championship. But the one thing the BCS did when it locked up the championship series, by the way, over the objection of the NCAA, they eliminated all the competition and kept all the money for themselves, and money makes the world go round in football too. You know, until the BCS came about, you know, you could have almost an unlimited number of players on your team. You could have 120 scholarship players of one form or another and 30 walk-ons and have a squad of 150. And this was getting out of hand, so the NCAA said, nope, from now on it'll be 85 scholarship players and that's it. Well, the coaches realized that because they couldn't stockpile these 35 or 40 players that they didn't really need but didn't want to ever play against. They knew these players would end up going to other colleges and making national powers out of them, and they did just that. But they so locked it in that no matter how good you are, if you're not a member of a BCS conference, you're on the sidelines. You know, they finally had to make an exception and open up an at-large bid to the BCS, and the first thing they did was invite Boise State to the Fiesta Bowl to play Oklahoma, and the whole purpose was to teach Boise State a lesson. Well, Boise State won the ball game 43-42, one of the greatest games ever played. And then they decided, well, you know, Utah may be undefeated, 12-0, but we'll teach them a lesson. We'll invite them to the Sugar Bowl to play Alabama. Alabama, 9.5-point favorite. And I'll never forget before that game how the television announcers, led by former Oklahoma coach Barry Switzer, said, you know, I hate to say this, but, you know, in truth, Utah doesn't have a single player that could make the Alabama football team. Well, what happened? Well, Alabama, with all that it had, got its butt kicked from here to Christmas, was dominated from start to finish by Utah, and the announcers were left absolutely speechless. Another lesson supposedly to be taught. The BCS is unfair. College football needs a 16-team playoff system, just like all the other divisions of NCAA football, and it needs to start sooner rather than later. What we're watching right now is a fraud, period.